Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Coffee Talk. If you've just joined, Coffee Talks are the short in-between episodes where we read your user-submitted stories, hang out with friends, talk about witchy pop culture, or chat with you about what is going on in our personal practices.
And if you want to be featured on Coffee Talk, email us at submissions@coffeeandcauldrons.com, or you can send us your submission on our website, coffeeandcauldrons.com. If typing out a huge long thing is just not your jam and you are one of those voice note girlies, you can literally just leave us a voicemail. Like, there is a 3 minute cutoff time, but if you haven't finished your story, just call us back. We'll put it together. And that number is 351-207-0799. And yeah, you can send us your tips, your ghost stories, or any kind of funny story you think the community would love to hear. Be sure to let us know if we can share your name, or if you prefer us not to. Your social media user names are also a great way to get credit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as a reminder, there is no Patreon class this month because Maria and I are going to be at the Windy City Parafest next week. To make up for this, however, for our library tier members and up, Maria and I are going to be uploading the zines that we will be offering at Windy City Parafest digitally onto Patreon to kind of make up for the fact that we're not going to have a class this month. So if you're in the library tier and up, or if you've been interested in it and you are like, well, what the heck? I pay for the classes. You're still getting almost 100 pages of information, which is great and exciting. So we would love to have you in there. And for those of you who are going to join us at the Windy City Parafest next week, we're so excited. You still have time to get streaming tickets to watch it. I mean, I think if you're in the Chicago area and you want to come, you can still
there's still some
purchase tickets. As a reminder though, guys, you can use the code COFFEE at checkout. We know for a fact there's at least a dozen of you coming and nobody's used the code. You get a discount. Use the code, guys. Get a discount. I mean, if you want to pay more, you are more than welcome to do that. But you can get a discount, so do use it.
And part of that discount, the part of the ticket goes to the thing that Frankie, the human rights thing,
yes,
too.
the Human Rights Coalition. So, guys, so silly.
You know what I was thinking?
Week, Maria and I...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
You know what I was thinking of? Like how we use Riverside to record and how it has the countdown. It makes me want to do
giving out our trade secrets.
Do the Wayne's World thing, where you see the countdown where you're like, and you're mouthing it.
1, 2.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. This week we are reading your listener submitted stories. So Maria, why don't you take us off with the first one?
Okay, so this person is asking us not to share their name, but okay, so back in 2016, I went on a family trip with my parents to Italy, and one of our overnight stops was at Lake Como. The hotel room we were put up in had the main floor and an upstairs loft with just enough room for a bed, a wardrobe, and a bench. And I got the loft while my parents had the bed on the main floor. The thing to remember is that the bed in the loft was up against the wall facing the stairs. I don't like that already.
Off to a great start.
One night, I woke up without any prompting, looked at the stairs, and saw this dark, shadowy figure coming up the stairs. And I got the impression that it was a man. Of course, I thought that some stranger had broken into our room and managed to get up to the loft with no problem. I immediately began yelling at the man, saying things like, "What are you doing here?" and "Get the F out." Of course, the man didn't leave, and he kept getting closer. Then all of a sudden, my dad was there, and the shadow man was gone. My parents were like, "There's no one here. You were asleep and yelling in your sleep." But I know I was awake, and I can tell the difference between between being awake and dreaming, and this definitely felt like I was awake. Later on, years after this trip, I found out that no one else in the other rooms heard my yelling, and that my dad had seen a shadow figure out of the corner of his eye in our room. So I spent a few years thinking I was nuts. Like this whole time, my dad might have seen the shadow figure too. You love it when parents gaslight their children about ghosts.
Oh my God. Well, let's be honest. If you're gonna have kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to, at least in my experience, you have to pretend like everything's chill just to
But you
try
can
to
tell
chill
that
them
they're at
out.
least a
But you
teenager.
can do that in a way. I was gonna say you can do that in a way that is not so mean.
This sounds.
You could do that in a way that is a little less evil and terrible.
I just think with a teenager, like you've got to be honest. You've just got to say what's going on.
I mean, I admittedly do tell my
That's different. They're
nearly
littles.
4-year-old. Well, I do tell my nearly 4-year-old about ghosts.
Yeah.
We have conversations about it. He says there's a man named Randy that lives in his room, and Randy glows and wears a red hat. So,
Okay.
nobody named Randy, for the record, has ever lived in this house. So,
Huh. Strange. Okay, feeling.
you know, do with that information what you will. Fucking Randy. Fucking Randy.
Oh,
my goodness. All right. Our next story comes from Ash. They use they, them pronouns. When I was living in Midwest, my home was near a large area of fields. I often went out there to clear up trash. I can read. Hello. I was reading a witchcraft book, and there was an exercise on connecting with nature, so I had decided to do it. Took a pair with me to an area with water. Pretty sure it was just a drainage ditch, but it was still a cool little area in the field to chill out, and sat there for a few minutes, eating one half of the pear and leaving the other half for the land, on the land as offerings. Why can't I read today? What is wrong with me? Not long after that, I found a wheat top placed very noticeably in one of my little glass containers on my money altar. The altar was tucked away in my closet, so nowhere near a window, somewhere that they could have blown in from outside. And I checked in with my sibling. It was just me and them living there, who had no idea what I was talking about when I asked if they had placed anything on my altar. Checked in with them again long after I moved out because I was thinking of it, and still no. So either my sibling is playing a long con or the land spirit appreciated my offering. I feel it's the second, as my sibling wouldn't be able to keep up the prank for this long. Unfortunately, the land was advertised for sale and the area around it was quickly being developed. When I visit the family in the area, I don't drive over there because I don't want to know what happened to the land. Yeah, that's sad. If I had had money to do so, I would have just bought it myself and let it remain undeveloped. But alas, I am a broke millennial and I can barely afford rent. Preach it. I do still have the wheat top, though.
No, I love that.
That's nice.
But I hate about the land being developed because we have a huge issue with that right now where we live. Like, just this town is becoming way overly developed and trees are being knocked down like all the time to make way for like we have like a Target coming, and I don't know how they can afford right now to even make a new store, but whatever. But I don't know. I moved out to the country to be in the country.
I moved out to the country to be in the country.
I want to be amongst the woods, not either amongst the woods or in a city if like there's no in between.
Yeah. I mean, we live in the woods and we live in the forest. We live in the mountains. And it is like country. People think of small towns and they think of like the little town that I grew up in, which has like 10,000. No, I think it's got 100,000 people. I don't know. Now it has 100,000 people, but at the time it was like less than 20,000 people. The town that I'm living in presently, the big town, has less than 1,000 people.
Nice.
It's super tiny. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody gossips. I love it and I hate it, but I really love just like getting to be in nature. Like we have a creek in our backyard now. It's like a full-on running creek. with like blackberry bushes. We have elderberry trees in our backyard.
Oh,
I'm
perfect.
like, we're vibing. We are vibing. Also, because this is kind of a short episode, we were talking about something in Discord this morning, and I want to talk about it because it's a coffee talk and this is chaos hour, baby. We were talking about the local library and supporting your local library, and I want to talk about how great libraries are. I want to talk about how great libraries are and why you should support your local library. And if you don't think that a local library is good, that's why you're wrong. So we're going to talk about it. First of all, local libraries give so much to the community. They give so much to your community.
They do way more than books.
Way more than books. And I think that the thing is that a lot of people who don't utilize their local library, this is not a shame if you don't use your local library, but a lot of people who don't utilize their local library don't realize what an amazing community resource it is and why you should get involved. So, if you are a parent with little kids, most local libraries have got play groups for little kids. They've got story times for little kids. And you might be thinking, my kid is too little to enjoy a book being read to them. Well, guess what? There's going to be other parents there, and you are going to meet people that have children in the same age group as you. And it's just as much for the parents as it is for the kids. I've met some of my closest friends here because of the library. You can get seeds. Most libraries have some form of a seed bank that you can get for free. You can also get those from food pantries. You can rent things. Well, rent. I'm saying rent, but it's borrow. Things from items from libraries like sewing machines, kayaks.
Ours literally, they have like a woodworking workshop in it. They have a place where you can film like podcasts. They have a place where you can like do photography. Like there's so much. My
little tiny library in my town of less of 1,000 people have got gardening tools that you can check out. Sewing machines, a serger, which for those of you who don't know anything about sewing machines, sergers are fucking expensive and you don't use them often enough usually to justify the $3,000 price. And they're big and they're bulky. Your library has so many things. There's going to be book clubs. There's going to be knitting classes and crochet classes, sewing classes. There's going to be Dungeons and Dragons groups. Our library's got a Lego club. I mean, you name it.
Is one of the biggest outreach programs for like LGBT people in the area.
Yeah.
And so that's where they they even have it so kids like who are part of that community can get together and meet each other and know that they're not alone. And
that's amazing.
Parents can meet each other too, and be there for one another as our kids go through this. And it's just really good and so important. And
if you are somebody who is low income and you don't have access to a lot of things, the library has got free access to computers. A lot of libraries will allow you to utilize their address for mediation and for job applications. If you need an address, you have to ask permission, but a lot of them have that. And so go get out there, utilize your local library. It's amazing. Volunteer if you have the ability and the resources. We were just talking about how much we love the library, and I really wanted to emphasize that because I think a lot of people don't realize just what an amazing resource the library is, and why gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous girls and boys support their local library.
Not to mention, we're all witches here. And I don't know about you, but I can't afford every single witch book that comes out. And so if your library does not carry any witchcraft books, you can actually have them start carrying them because you'd be like, well, I would like these books in, and they will order it for you and you will get your witchcraft books that way. You would actually be surprised at how many like witchcraft books the libraries actually even carry now. Like I've seen the same section that's at like Barnes and Noble at the local library. So
and another thing, speaking of witchcraft books, if you are an e-reader user who has access to an application called Libby,
And
If you don't know what Libby is a
Hoopla.
library digital book resource that is free. You can check out ebooks and audiobooks through Libby through your local library, but simultaneously there are a ton, and I mean a ton, of libraries that allow people who don't live in their area to utilize getting a library card as long as they're like a state resident, for free. So you can have access to their ebook and audiobook sections for free. And then there's other libraries like the Boston Library and the New York City Library, that it's like $50 for a year, but then you have access to some of the biggest libraries in the world or in the country and their books. So get out there, support your local library.
If you don't want to wait around for like Libby, Hoopla's a good option because you get the books at like, you don't even have to wait. You're just literally going ahead and renting the book. Like for audiobooks, I've listened to Braiding Sweetgrass on there. I've listened to, oh my gosh, just a ton of like, and as I said, you get them soon. You don't have to wait around like Libby, like months out. Yes, their section is smaller, but very good section. And they have good gardening magazines too that you can get.
Magazines. So. Yeah, you can get magazines.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to buy the Twilight series again for our Twilight reread on Discord, and so I use Libby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. No, we love our library.
So, yeah, I didn't mean to get on like a total soapbox, but I do think that a lot of people don't realize what an incredible resource the library is and why you should support yours.
Definitely support it. Like your taxes are going towards something good and for you.
And for you, it's one of the few things that our tax dollars go to that actually is for you. Go use it. Utilize it. And if you're not going to use it, that's totally fine, but support it. Cheer it on. Celebrate it.
Mm-hmm. So how excited are you for Chicago?
So excited. I'm so excited. I am essentially at this point right now where I am mapping out what it is I want to do and what I want to wear. I think I figured out what I'm going to wear to the 80s prom. I did find my rhinestone little booty shoes, and I think I'm going to wear those because they're sick as hell. But yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling good. I'm a little bit nervous about flying solo because I haven't done that since I have the kids.
Honestly, it's so relaxing.
I am relaxed about it, but I mean, you know, I have OCD and one of my fears is flying. And before I had children, I would have like really vivid, intrusive thoughts about like the wing ripping off of the plane and stuff like that. So I'm just like I'm a little afraid of that. I'm a little afraid of what that's going to be like.
Do you have a direct flight or do you have a layover? I don't remember.
I have a direct flight. Thank fuck. But I do have a layover on the way back, but it's in Vegas. So like,
well, take a little sleep. Oh my gosh. You get to gamble if you want to when you stop in Vegas. I love how they have slot machines at the airport. That's very Vegas.
I'm not a gambler, Maria. I don't gamble at all. I don't
we
gamble.
Always give ourselves like $10 and that's it, like for the entire trip. You either lose it or you gain some. But no, I'm very much looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. I wish we had longer. I wish we had like a couple extra days to just like explore Chicago.
So it goes.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be pretty. I'm really excited. I'm a big fan of like city lights, like, you know, at night and how pretty everything looks like when it's all lit up. And I definitely want to be out there on the river when it's all lit up.
Yes.
Feel that city energy.
I'm also a little bit nervous about being away from my children. It'll be the first time I've ever been separated from my kids.
It's hard.
Even when I went to Australia last time, I had my son with me.
That's hard.
So I'm a little nervous about that too.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be good. It'll be good. At least you have our editor looking after the littles.
Yes, my lovely, darling husband who is such a peach and is such a good man. We love him very much. He is 100% appreciated on this podcast and in this home.
Which is funny because I'm having the witchling watch the dog, so I also appreciate the witchling.
They're way older now than my kids.
I appreciate them for doing the work while I'm gone too.
All right. Well, on that note, I think that this is the end of our little segment here. Thank you, everyone, for listening to my soapbox rant about the library. Go volunteer if you can. It's great. So thank you all so much for joining us this week for Coffee Talk. We will not see you next week because we're going to be flying. We're going to be in Chicago. You can buy tickets and watch us live stream a podcast live. Live stream live.
Yeah.
Use
and we're
the code coffee. Don't pay full price, you silly geese. We hope to see you next week for our regular episode. You can check out our websites for link to our submission forms or shoot us an email at submissions@coffeeandcauldrons.com or you can leave us a voicemail, the number of which is 351-207-0799. As a reminder, it does have a 3-minute cap, so just call back. We'll smash it together and you can send us whatever stories that you think the community would love to hear.
And as always, if you enjoy Coffee and Cauldrons, please take a moment to review us on Apple Podcasts. Or if you if you prefer to support us directly, consider joining us on Patreon, where we share articles, a special Part 2 exclusive episode, have a Spell of the Month box, and a Discord that has a very, very, very amazing community on it. Like, come be with us.
Yes, we've got so much stuff going on. Get in there, hang out with us. We would love to have you. So we'll see you next time, guys. We'll see you on the main stage next week. Love you. Bye.
Bye.